Good morning, Lisa. I'm so happy you're here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the International Association of Veterinary Social Workers, which we're both passionate about. And I just
Mhm.
want to thank you for your time. And I will start with our first grouping of questions, that being stating your name, your role in the IAVSW, your organization and position, um, what type of prior work or school experience led you to your current role? And then what's your role with the mission and the culture of this particular field?
Great. Thank you so much for your time this morning and interest in learning more about our board members. Yes, I'm Lisa Wiborg. I am the co-director of education, and I'm very excited to be on the IAVSW board. My co-director, Rebecca Stevens, uh, was not able to join us today, but we are very excited that I still get to work with her. So let's see what led me to where I guess I am now. I feel like for my current role that I'm doing as a social worker, I have a master's in social work and a bachelor's in social work. And my path was a little, I guess, untraditional, or maybe this is the traditional way that vet social workers are coming about now. I actually did most of my career in medical social work. So I worked in hospitals, discharge planning, case management, and then I actually went into inpatient hospice. And then the last 8 years have been in actually community hospice. And I always felt there was something missing, and it was this piece of incorporating animals into my practice. I actually got really burnt out with working in social work, surprise. And I actually even looked at trying to like, what else can I do with my degree, or do I get out of social work? And I could not think of any other job out there that I enjoyed doing. And so I literally Googled animals and social work, and the University of Tennessee's vet social work program popped up. And this is I always say that I feel like the stars aligned when that happened. Like all everything just popped and said, oh my gosh, this is what's supposed to happen. Because I actually grew up in East Tennessee, and I always thought I was going to go to UT for college, and then I ended up moving to Ohio. And so the fact that it was UT that had this program, just again, everything just, you get the goosebumps that say, oh my gosh, this is what's supposed to happen. So I started the program when I was actually in working in the hospital section, but it was so hard to get time off. I couldn't do the program. I couldn't do the intensives. I couldn't get things done. So I ended up transitioning to community work in hospice at that point, because my very favorite population to work with is elder adults. I love working with them. I love those who are, you know, with dementia. And so when I was working in hospice, I started kind of thinking, are there ways that I can incorporate some animal assisted therapy in seeing my patients? So I completed my vet social worker certificate in 2018, or was it 2017? Oh my goodness. Seems like so long ago.
Time
Um,
flies when you're having fun, even if you
it
are
does.
working.
It does, absolutely. And so my role was really incorporating a lot of um the animal assisted interventions into my work in hospice. But it really wasn't enough for me. I wanted more vet social work. And so I actually started my own company called Healing Paws LLC here in Ohio, because there are no vet social work jobs that existed at that time. And I had no idea what I was doing with this company. Um, and that was really, I like grabbed the name back in 2017, and then actually started doing business back in 2020, which was the worst year to start a business.
2020, maybe the worst or the best. You never
Right,
know.
right. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. It, it just removed all expectations at that point. So it's just been something little I've been doing on the side while working full time in these other things. And then I got connected with Dr. Pam Linden, who I met actually during my time at UT doing my intensive. And so now I have created my own type of role. So I guess that's my non-traditional answer of I have basically about three part-time jobs right now, which I absolutely love. So I do 20 hours a week at UT. I actually work in their Center for Veterinary Social Work with Dr. Linden. I'm doing working on projects with her. We're doing a research project, Inclusive Vet Med, which is looking at um, the wellness and mental health and how it's affected by students in vet school before they actually get out into, practicing. I also work on ABC Circle, which is our beautiful free platform for
I love
anyone
the
who is passionate about access to veterinary care. How can we improve it? So it is a free platform open to professionals, shelter workers, veterinarians, vet techs, social workers, anybody that wants to come together and brainstorm and work on and share what's working, how do we not, what's not working, how do we close this gap in access to care. So I'm also working at Cleveland State University. So I'm adjunct teacher there, actually teaching the veterinary social work capstone course because now Cleveland State has the VSW certificate. So the students there can get their VSW certificate while they're getting their master's, and it's all online. And I work with students as a faculty liaison who are doing their field placements. And so some of my students in my vet social work course are in doing their field placements too in animal related settings. And so actually last week I got to go to a therapeutic riding stable because one of my students is there and got to
awesome.
observe them. Oh my gosh, it was so fantastic. And to see their excitement about, oh my gosh, I can still work with animals and do social work and they see the impact of that. Um
That's incredible. I'm
yeah.
curious, how do you see the IAVSW fitting in with everything that you have just expressed? Because that is a mountain full of words and experiences.
Well, I mean, I think IAVSW has been able to help connect me to so many other people who are either doing like work or want to learn more. And so actually with my field placement role at Cleveland State, we're actually working on having student interns at IAVSW. So that's in the works for next year. So hopefully, like you, doing this wonderful work for your internship, hopefully we can get a vet social work student from Cleveland State in. So an opportunity for them to learn about it's not just regional, it's global. We are all
Absolutely.
humans. There are animals everywhere, and we have this bond. We have this just absolute love for them and the people, and how do we work with them together? And I think it gives us, as social workers, a large view of what's impacting something in this country can impact something in this country.
Absolutely.
It's systems, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Can
And
you,
I love, oh,
so
sorry.
you love what? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I also love that the IAVSW is interdisciplinary. So it's not just social workers. So I actually, at the summit this past year, which was held at Cleveland State, which was so amazing. And I got to see all the people I've been fangirling for years, like in my town. Um, but it's veterinarians and it's vet techs and it's mental health professionals, it's researchers. And that's how we work together to actually help support this. It's not just social work. We got enough on our plate. We can't do it all. We have to partner with these other amazing, humans that are doing different kind of work and partnering together.
And that intersectionality is huge because none of us lives in a silo. But unfortunately, especially in the veterinary field, we do end up working in silos. So it is so refreshing and inspiring to hear everything that you're saying. Really, what this is really plaguing me now, and this one may take a few seconds of thought.
Okay.
Well, because you've done so much, what would you consider currently your biggest success, your most heartfelt success?
That's a really great question. Um, right now, I feel like my heartfelt success is seeing my students being successful and going into this field. I did not know that vet social work existed until a decade after I finished grad school. And when that time came and I was thinking, oh my gosh, do I get out of social work? I don't know what to do. I called it my quarter life crisis because I don't know what I was going to do. It was very unsettling. And the fact that these students now are getting to know that this is a field in their school, practicing it in an internship. And a lot of them are actually getting hired on from their internships. And that right there, I think, is what makes me so excited that they're getting this opportunity so much earlier.
It's
Um,
wonderful.
yeah.
It is wonderful. I had that discussion with my brother the other day, who is an equine vet, and he was bemoaning the fact that he feels as though he lives and works in a silo.
Hmm.
And I had little words of hope for him for the future, which
Yeah.
it takes a while for anything to catch on. But I'm telling you, you have lit a fire under veterinary social work and the International Association of Veterinary Social Workers.
Oh,
So
well,
maybe the flames will fan his way more quickly.
I absolutely love talking about it. I hope that my energy is catching for some people, who just either didn't know it exists. I mean, that those are those amazing conversations when they're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was a thing." And you're like, "It is a thing." And guess what? You can do it. I think it's empowering them to become involved. That is a huge, huge um I think win for the field to see these amazing professionals who are so passionate about, helping people, helping animals, recognizing how important the bond is and being able to actually like do something with it. We want to see action too. Yes, it's great to educate and show them what they can do, but when we start seeing the action, I think that's really important as well.
Absolutely. And then adding the research piece for credibility and validity.
Exactly, which
Yeah.
I had no interest in doing research. As a social worker, I was like, oh no, I'm going to be direct practice the whole time. I had no interest in research. I don't feel like I have that brain, but one of the opportunities I didn't get to mention yet was I was able to do a 3-year long fellowship with the Robert Wood Johnson Clinical Scholars Program, and actually worked with a team of myself, a veterinarian, and 2 psychologists that did an intervention. It was in research on introducing acceptance and commitment therapy in reducing reactivity for veterinarians that are working with difficult client interactions. And so that was really my first taste of research. And I don't think I could still be a full time researcher, still not there yet, but to see things working and how we measure it and then how we are able to share that information out. Um, it's incredible. And I feel like I've gotten to meet a lot of amazing veterinarians, veterinary care professionals in this work that I've been doing recently. So, um, the fact that they know that there's a whole profession out there of social work to help support them, I think says a lot, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel and hear this huge sigh of relief once they understand what veterinary social work has to offer in their everyday dealings with
Hmm.
so many different topics and individuals and animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I feel like,
is
yeah, I was going to say too, the only other part I want to mention about this is the vet students that I've worked with. So we actually had veterinary students on our research team for inclusive vet med, and to see how excited they are to consider wellness, mental health support, non-academic stressors as just as important as their academic ones, to take care of themselves, to see that start that early for them. I'm so excited to see like how they are going to practice as a veterinarian when they graduate.
that is very exciting, and you make it even more exciting. Is there anything else that you would like to add to what you've already said? I mean, I'm going to listen to this recording several times because there's some areas that I'm going to want to rethink. Um, but if there's anything else you'd like to add before we conclude,
I would just like to add that as a social worker, I think it's the best profession in the entire world because you can do so many things with it. And pair it with the veterinary side of things. We may not have a traditional job trajectory or job pattern at this point. So I now am fully remote. I work my own schedule. I actually I don't see clients or patients anymore. Um, and this was something I never thought that I would get to, but I absolutely love my jobs. I love what I'm doing. And I hope that it can inspire not only other social workers, but veterinarians. You don't have to go that route to, direct practice or emergency care or what. There's industry jobs. There's lots of other things that you can do. But I also want to say that it is so important to be a part of a professional organization like IAVSW to help not only you learn things, you meet people, networking, but it's very you grow in that. And I think a credible organization like that, I'm so honored to be on the board and to be this co-director of education where we can make sure that other people have access to other people's knowledge. Our monthly CEs that we have. We now have an education work group that's working on some resources to be able to share widely and globally. And I'm very excited to see the connections that come out of this.
That's awesome. And what I'm hearing you say is the opportunities are unlimited. It's just a matter of the stars aligning.
It is.
Yes,
Yep.
I love it. Well, thank you. We really appreciate your time and sharing and explaining what you do on the board and all of the rest of your life because we know everybody on the board is volunteer. So that is another thing in addition to all of the other roles that you fulfill. So on behalf of the board, I'd really like to thank you, Lisa.
Yep.
And I will close now and stay online though, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.